Hello, hello, and welcome to the All In podcast with Nate Peo. Of course, I'm your host, Nate Peo. Today, my guest is Hani Mourra. Hani is a dad, softwarepreneur, and the creator of Repurpose.io, an easy-to-use automation tool that helps entrepreneurs, coaches, and content creators maximize their exposure without spending hours publishing to multi-platforms. Welcome to the show, Hani. How are you?
I'm doing awesome. How are you, Nate?
Doing awesome. Fantastic. So before we get into a little bit about your story of how you came up with it, repurpose.io is like one of those tools that when somebody tells you about it, you're like, where have you been all my life? And it came from, I was in a Facebook group with a bunch of podcasters, right? And somebody came on and talked about how to create repurpose content from your podcast interviews. And anybody that's in podcasting or content creation knows, like, hey, you have a podcast, it's like 50, 60 minutes worth of content, and most people don't have the time to sift through all that and listen to it. So it's really, great way to promote your content where you can put the highlights and the snippets, but you're like, who has the time to go back and do that? And somebody's like, oh no, this thing can just kind of like take out a ton of the groundwork for you and makes it super easy to, one, truncate it down, and two, get it to the multiple platforms. So let's just start there. Like, obviously you're the founder of the company. You created this software. What was your inspiration for building it?
Yeah, I mean, laziness. I'm a lazy guy. No, I'll go on. That's part of it. But no, all kidding aside, I mean, I didn't know what repurpose was going to become when I started. And when I started 7 or 8 years ago, I'm a software computer person. I went to computer engineering, software engineering, whatever you want to call it. I always loved video. So I knew like one day I wanted to do a video for a software for video creators because I love creating video. But about 8 years ago, I was doing a lot of blogging about video, teaching people YouTube marketing, tips and tricks, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, this is cool, but I need to create a software. And then I don't know what the idea was, but it just that moment I said video and software, it just like a light bulb went out. I'm like, this is what I need to be doing. Fast forward a few months later, I created my first WordPress plugin, which took all your YouTube videos and put them on your blog. And as simple as that sounds, it was one of the kind of the first step towards automation for content creators. And it evolved from automatic videos to your blog to automatically putting podcasts to your blog. Our second tool we launched. Third one, take all your Facebook lives, put them on your blog. And then one day over time, those customers were saying, hey, I love that you repurposing content to my blogs, fantastic. But how do you repurpose it, or can you repurpose it to other platforms? So I just kind of grow my reach. I can get it onto YouTube. How can you get it onto LinkedIn or Twitter? And that's how Repurpose was born. It was not an idea I necessarily had initially, but it was customers telling me, hey, you're doing awesome repurposing to blog. Can you build us a tool that can repurpose to other platforms?
Yeah. It's funny how a lot of businesses start out that way with like, hey, I kind of want to do this one thing, but then you listen to what your customers say and you're like, and you're hearing, hey, these are the problems we're experiencing. Can you do something around this? You're like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then because the customers that you have are asking for it, it makes your business, I think, more likely to succeed because you're providing the value that they're looking. You're not out there trying to pitch them on something that they don't need. And it's such a pain point. So, anybody that started up a blog or whatever it is, like my personal experience with it has been like when you first started it up, you go, hey, I want to add my YouTube video to my blog, right? You go onto YouTube and you grab the embed code and you put it in there. And it's not that much work, right? It's like 2 seconds. 10 seconds. It's probably more than that, but it's a little bit. But then when you start getting busier and you start adding more tasks and more opportunities, you're like, hey, all these little things that take a minute here, a minute there add up to be like an hour to 2 hours of just daily menial tasking. There's got to be a way to start automating some of this and making it a lot simpler. And then when you discover, like when I found Repurpose, it was just like, super easy to use, super straightforward. You have all your videos on there that just says, hey, look, you want to set up this flow. And what I mean by that flow is like you create your content in a spot, and that might be on a podcast, might be on a YouTube video, might be in a Facebook Live, and then your flow is, what does it do after that? And you can create these things up, and it was just like, oh, add your accounts, create these flows step by step, boom, hit do it. And then like in about the time it would take you to copy your embed codes over from your LinkedIn over to, Facebook and all this other stuff, like you're up and running automatically, which is super, super cool. The only downfall I think is when the softwares don't let, not the softwares, but the apps don't let you auto post, something like Instagram, like you have to go log in and do your own post. And that's all on those guys to kind of like allow some flexibility in that. But what was kind of like your journey as being an entrepreneur? I know your software has been really successful. It's very popular, but as an entrepreneur, you always have challenges, unexpected obstacles that come up. What has been like some of your struggles with being an entrepreneur and creating this business?
I've heard this many times, and I'm gonna say it because it's so true. It's an emotional roller coaster, literally an emotional roller coaster. One day you can be like top of the world, everything's going so well, and then like maybe even a few hours later, you're like, oh my goodness, why am I doing this? This is too much. This is too hard. What did I get myself into? And the next day, like, oh man, this is awesome. Everything's so good. It's just like lots of emotions. It's like, your software, my software, my business is like my baby. And, we grew it out of nothing, out of just ideas. And you want it to succeed, you want it to do well. But yeah, the day-to-day is a lot of up and downs from an emotional side. And I hear that's pretty normal. If you're passionate about something, your business, you're going to go with all the highs and all the lows. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs experience that.
Yeah, that's so true. Especially, I can imagine software being a very emotional roller coaster. You get that call at Saturday night, like, hey, something went down, and like
servers are down. Yeah,
you're like,
oh, God, that's my favorite. Oh man,
yeah,
here we go.
that's right.
Yeah, we have a team. I mean, mind you, like in the beginning it was just me and one other person. The team is now up to, I think, 7 or 8 people, which has its own challenges because you got to manage bigger teams, but also you can rely on more people and not worry about, when something goes down, we have the proper system so the right person gets notified, and we have the right support team in place around the clock, that kind of thing. So yeah, you got to build a support team around you, whatever business you're in. Even if you start solo or you start in a small group, you need to build a support network, and it's very important for your mental health.
Exactly. So I know I kind of briefly talked about what repurpose.io does, but I'd like to get your words, because I mean, I don't know it like you know it, but I'd like to get your description of what repurpose is and what it does and how it solves, content creators' dilemmas.
Yeah, it's the idea, the motto, if you want to shorten it down, it's create once, publish everywhere. So the idea is you want to create content. You want to post content regularly, daily, if you can, to social media, but nobody has time to create content every single day, right? We all have business to run. So the idea is you create a content like what we're doing now. We're doing an interview, video, audio, whatever you want. You create content once in the week, and then you can generate 25 up to 20, probably even more, but we say around 25 pieces of video content, snippets, clips, whatever you want to call them, and have them scheduled out to different platforms through our platform. So through Repurpose, you can have it scheduled to go out to Twitter, to LinkedIn, to YouTube, to Facebook pages, Facebook groups, all from a single piece of content. So you can start with a Facebook Live, or you start with an audio podcast, start with a Zoom recording. We have different types of inputs you can start with, and the goal being is that you have content going out every day to the social media platforms without you or someone on your team editing videos, uploading it on this day, it's all, you can slice and dice and schedule directly through our platform.
Yeah, I love what it's capable of doing. And there's a Gary Vaynerchuk slideshow out, and it's like how to create like 75 pieces of content in like 2 hours, something like kind of absurd. But in the gist of it is like a lot of people, when they're told like go on social media, there's your puppy.
There she is. you see something outside?
No worries.
I knew it was bound to happen.
But anyways, okay, good. So anyways, like, when we're told like, hey, content creation needs to happen because it's going to build your brand or your personal brand or get your message out, whatever you need to do it, and you're looking to get started, and it's overwhelming thinking like, hey, how can I create something new every single day? And Gary's slideshow is basically like, hey, this is how I do it. I take an hour long keynote, and then I break it down into these chunks, and then I take those chunks and then I repurpose them in this aspect, and then I take some of those aspects and push them over to this other platform. So really, you're only taking one giant message and breaking it down into smaller things and doing this. And over time, that one piece of content that's an hour long, it generates 25 different pieces of content. That could be, a month's worth of stuff, and you just kind of repurpose as over the course of a year, and you're only creating really like 12 big pieces and then breaking down the individuals. So the repurpose thing is basically, hey, here's what you should be doing. Here's the tool that gets you there. And I think the tools are really where it comes in critical, because you're like, hey, I don't have to have this giant team of social media managers and video editors. It's just, hey, me and maybe one other person could just get a ton of stuff done and look like we're have a whole production team behind it. So it's very cool stuff.
Yeah.
What do you see kind of like the future of people and the need to create personal branding, whether they have their own business or they're working for other companies?
I mean, video is key, right? Video is the best way for someone to learn about the human aspect of your business. The people, the team, the founder, whoever it is on your team that interacts with customers or interacts with the brand. Video is the best way. They see everything. They see you. They see your face, your hand movements. Whatever it is, it's the next best thing than face to face. And so, I mean, video content is very important for social media. It's obviously like the most flexible. I mean, audio is great. It's awesome. I love consuming audio content, but video lets you post it on different social media platforms. You can't, it's hard. Well, most of them don't even support audio content. But video also takes time. That's why the whole idea of repurposing is important, is that you don't feel like video is a drag. You create content, interview style, interview customers, interview guests, experts in your field. That's how you create content. It doesn't have to always be you, but by putting the content out to all different platforms on a regular basis, it helps the social media algorithms kind of recognize, hey, this page or this person or this person is posting regularly. Let's just keep showing more of their videos. And social media platforms, they love video. So the more you post, the more, over time, they're going to recognize that, hey, this person's posting regularly. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Let's keep showing more love. So yeah, it's important because people with short attention spans, when they see images, they're not as engaged, unless it's an interesting face or a quote or some recognizable face. But video is just, something about video is captivating. Like, especially you start burning in captions in those videos, and you can burn in a nice headline. There's ways to kind of create videos that catch your eye as you're scrolling. And the other thing is keep them short. Short videos on YouTube, you want to go long, or not you want to, you are allowed to go longer, and it's okay because people are searching for solutions on YouTube. But when it comes to like Instagrams and the Twitters, and you keep it short, keep it like light, almost like teasers or trailers or highlights from the content you created, because people have very short attention spans there.
Yeah. When you were getting started with this, and we talked briefly, like the platforms don't always allow you to do things how you'd want to do it. They want to keep you on the platform, engaged on there, and not coming from or leaving to other platforms to create and view content. So how much interaction do you have with those development platforms, or are you kind of, on your own trying to figure out how to make it work and integrate?
No, they all have APIs, like interfaces where you can go in, and they have a developer, usually the big ones, LinkedIn, Twitter, etc. They have a developer console, developer section of their website. You go in, obviously got to get permission. Like we got to apply with Facebook and YouTube. We went through audits, and they audited what we're doing, those permissions. We're not doing anything sneaky. We're not stealing people's data. So yeah, they give you all documentation, but also they have to approve you as well. And then, yeah, I mean, if you need help, there's some of them have help sections. Some of them have actually an email. LinkedIn had a great email support for developers, so that developer
Mm-hmm.
can ask questions. So it all varies, but to be honest, a lot after you kind of understand how one works, they're all very similar in style, and the documentation is very good. You just kind of figure out. They give you abilities. Some of them give you abilities to upload. Some give you the abilities to download. Meaning, like YouTube, for example, doesn't give us permission to download videos. Only gives us permission to upload. So
Mm-hmm.
we cannot repurpose videos from YouTube because they don't give us permission to download. But Facebook gives you permission to download videos, so we can repurpose videos from Facebook and send them to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So, we got to work around limitations. Sometimes you got to kind of bend the rules a little bit and work around some of the limitations. But overall, we've been, every company will audit you. Zoom, same thing. They go through a review, make sure you're not doing anything sneaky with the permissions they give you, because, that's their job. They want to protect their users as well.
Right, right, right. So what are like some of the things that sorry, I got a little mind distraction. What I meant was when you're creating, like if you're getting started, what I found is because there's a certain flow of what works and what doesn't. Like you said, you can't go from YouTube back to Facebook, but you can go from Facebook to YouTube. As you're getting started and you're looking for, how am I going to build my platform? Where am I going to build my main community and share it to it? And so like I started looking at it and going like, hey, I might, start creating all these YouTubes, right? And then I go, oh, well, if I create all this stuff on YouTube, I can't take it back to these other platforms and repurpose it. I need to be in the platform that I can, push it down the most from and build my community there, and then grow from there and go back and forth. So I think that to me was something, at least because I hadn't been too far into my process. It wasn't like, oh, I got 100,000 followers on YouTube and I just found out like I got to get them all over to Facebook into a Facebook Live now to repurpose my videos. But if you're just kind of getting started, I think you should play around on that and see where it's going to make the most sense to start hosting your main. This is the main spot I'm going to create from, and then push down from there. So what's kind of your advice on where somebody should invest their first moments of time at?
Yeah, 100% for me. I think what I'm putting on my repurposing hat, Facebook page. And the reason why I say that is Facebook page, it's almost like YouTube in a sense that it lets you upload custom thumbnails. It also has the automatic transcription, so they can transcribe all your videos for free. You get free transcriptions right from Facebook. They're not the greatest, it's automated, right? But they give you the ability to go in and fix them up. And then you can basically use your Facebook as your input. And we teach people that in our training as well. As when you want to use repurpose, start with a Facebook page. Even if you don't have a big following there, that's okay. Or even if you want to just create a dummy page, like I call it dummy, like an invisible page that's not published yet.
Mm-hmm.
Start from Facebook, do everything there, give a good title, upload your custom thumbnail, turn on the transcriptions on them, let Facebook transcribe them for you. And then from there, you can go to YouTube, you can go little clips to Twitter, to LinkedIn. You can go from video to audio. You can get that. We can repurpose, can send that into an audio podcast. We can turn it into a blog post as well. So Facebook is for me the most versatile platform from a standpoint of, hey, I'm going to put it there and then let the software repurpose from there.
Okay. So would you create the video in like go into Facebook, open up the page, create a video in there, or would you like film it and then upload it to there and then go from?
My number one preference, recommendation, if you're comfortable, is to go live.
Okay.
So go live on Facebook, on your Facebook page, whether you use Facebook's tool or use a third-party tool like StreamYard or BeLive or any of those, or Restream, whatever. Doesn't matter what tool you use, but go live on your Facebook page. Or if you're not comfortable going live, or you don't plan on going live, you want to do a recorded video, like a session that you would do with anybody, you can just, after you're done, just upload it to your Facebook page and start from there. So either way, it's fine.
Okay.
But I like live because live eliminates two things. It eliminates editing. It's just like, hey, like it's not perfect, but it's live. You just do it and you're done. Like no more sitting there like, let's do a take one, let's do a take two. Oh, you know, the dog was barking or this, whatever excuses. Oh, I don't like the way my hair looks. You can't go back. You've done it. You're live. And that's a good thing, right? Just editing is one of the biggest pain points in video is people don't like the way they look, or they don't like this. They don't like how they said that. And then they end up cutting out and editing. And that's honestly wastes hours and hours and hours. So if you go live, do your content, do your interview, do your solo show, you're done. Your content's there and it's available to the world. I hate when people record, including myself. I'm guilty of it. You record a video and then you're like, oh, I still got to edit it. Then you get distracted and then it never sees light of day. You don't get value out of the video, but you're also not giving value to your users or your audience.
Yeah, I think that authentic, like the process of creating it feels more natural. I don't know what it is too. Like if you're just having a live conversation, like it flows better. But like when I record something, like once I mess it up once, like I can't not mess it up. It's like I can't keep my mind. And like I'm like trying to recall this. Like I want to cover these key points, right? If I'm having a conversation, I'll cover them really, really good. Hit the points, so it'll flow natural. If I'm doing a video, I'm like, oh my God, and then I have to start over and then 100%. I keep flubbing it. Yeah, it just triggers it down. So do the Facebook groups, I know Facebook groups right now are really popular. Is that a good place to create and then push down, or do you need to start on the page and push to the groups from there?
I recommend start from the page because you have more tools. You have the free transcription. I don't think pages, they transcribe your videos for you. Facebook won't do it. You can get it transcribed elsewhere and upload it to the video on your group. That's no problem. That's an extra step. If you do it on your page, and then what you can do is you can have repurpose platform send it to your group automatically. So you can have a little rule that says, hey, every time you see a video on my page, hey, shoot a copy over to my group automatically. So we can do that. And also the custom thumbnail, I'm not 100% sure you can upload a custom thumbnail. Like a nice preview image for your videos on your group. You may or may not, I'm not sure, but definitely on your page. So I like the page. They have tools like the Facebook Creator Studio, which is a great tool to help manage your videos on your page. So definitely they, meaning Facebook, have built a lot of tools to help you manage videos and make them all look good, transcriptions, thumbnails, etc., all like from nice interface and nice tools. So that's why I recommend using a Facebook page. But I mean, you can always use a group. There's nothing really wrong with going for the group. I just feel like the page interface is easier and gives you more options when you're thinking about repurposing. Okay. I just want to mention as well, like when we say we publish to multiple platforms, it's not like we're sharing your Facebook page to LinkedIn. We're not sharing the video from your Facebook page to Twitter. We're literally taking the video and uploading it native to each platform, which is important to know because platforms don't like each other. LinkedIn doesn't want you sharing YouTube videos. LinkedIn wants you to upload videos to LinkedIn. Twitter, they want you to upload Twitter. Facebook, they don't want people sharing links so that you send their users to another platform to watch the video. So you want to upload native, it's called native upload to that platform. And that's what repurpose does. It does that for you. And that way you have all the attention. The users of LinkedIn are not leaving LinkedIn to watch your video. And that's very important.
Yeah. One of the things I love about it is like, I'll record this. We put it up onto Libsyn, which is a hosting platform for podcasts that distributes it to Apple and Spotify and all these places where you're listening to podcasts. But then the repurpose.io takes my content and it adds it to the cover art for the show with the notes that were written, and it puts it there. Everything goes right on top of it, and then it's got that cool little squiggly line that says when people are talking, and then that pushes that video right up to YouTube. So it's complete. Even though we're taking like an audio file, we've converted it to a video. Even the video is just like a static kind of visual with like the audio up and down going through there, but it's another place where it's repurposed and it looks and feels completely original. And then from there, you can also break it down into little like 15-second clips that you can do for Instagram stories or something like that. So I like how simple it is for creating these little little pieces, and it's very powerful. So what's kind of the things you're working on now, or you see coming out in the near future that people could get excited about?
Yeah, I mean, when we started Repurpose, it was literally, it did two things. It took an audio podcast, went to a video, and sent it to YouTube. That was the first thing we did. And then second thing we did is a lot of people were live streaming on Facebook, and they wanted to upload that video to YouTube just to have a copy there. And so those are the two things we did. That's all it did. Now it does a whole lot more. We've obviously integrated more platforms. And one of the biggest features in the video world was burning in the captions right inside the video. So someone can see the captions, nice big letters, so they can follow along the video without sound. So we've done that. We've had that for about a year now. But one of the areas we're focusing on now is one, more integration. So think of Repurpose as a connecting platform, almost like a Zapier or IFTTT, if you've heard of those platforms, where it allows you to connect two things together and then make a rule that says, when you see something here, send it here. And in the process, turn it from a video to an audio, audio to a video, whatever you want, vertical, square. You decide the rules based on the workflow. So we're adding more and more integrations so you can send it to more and more places. And then two, we're adding template designers right into our app so that you can design and brand the video the way you, with your logo and the colors and the style of it. So when, for example, when we take a regular horizontal video and we convert it to a vertical video, right now it's sitting on a single color, like black background or white background. We burn in the captions. It looks nice, but we're giving users flexibility to customize fonts, really design that template so that each video, it's more branded the way they want when they convert a horizontal video to a square and to a vertical. So more about the looks and design. We've built the automation. Now we're making it easier for you to design templates right within Repurpose so that you can make it look more like the way you want, the styles and fonts and colors and all that good stuff.
Cool. Awesome stuff. And I think that's an important lesson you described there too, for people that are looking to build a business, specifically software or an invention, is you didn't go out and create Repurpose IO in its current state, right? And then like, hey, now let's launch and let's see if it works, if there's any traction. You're taking little individual things. And when you said what your first step you do is we just take an audio and put it onto YouTube. Like that is one of the simplest things, but it's pretty powerful. And then you grow from there. So it's kind of learning to walk before you learn to run, and taking those small steps and be launching. And then, hey, what did you think of this, Mr. Customer? Mr. Customer, what else do you need? What's the next things? And then you start implementing those tasks and releasing those in the future. So I think that you've shared a ton of knowledge here of like what it's like to be an entrepreneur, what it's like to be a startup business developer, what it's like to be a content creator, and the struggles and how do you overcome them through time-saving tools. So that leads to my question next to you is, what does it mean to you to be all in? What does all in mean to you?
Blood, sweat, and tears. Meaning, what I mean by that is like you gotta be passionate about something, and that's you build out of passion, and it shows. Like it's not about things that we do. A lot of things that don't scale. As a founder of a business, you do things that are not scalable, especially in the beginning, right? But it doesn't matter. Like I'd get up in the middle of the night, or I would do this, or I would stay up late to try to figure this out because I wanted to, because I knew my users wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't feel like work. And I know it sounds like a cliche, but you gotta be really passionate about the business that you're in, and good things will happen. Customers will feel it, will feel and see your passion. Even if it's one customer, like, I used to do all the customer support before we had a big team. And even now we have a team of customer support, but I still jump into Facebook groups and I go one-on-one. I'll hop on a Zoom call with somebody and help them. Is because I want them to succeed. It's not about a money thing. It's because I want people to get the value that's in the software, and because I'm so passionate about the software, right? It's something I created. I knew it has a ton of value. I want to help people. And yeah, you gotta almost forget that it's a business in a way, that like it's something you gotta take pride in. And you just sometimes, especially in the beginning, you do what you gotta do, and you do it out of, from the bottom of your heart, because you want to, not because you want to gain a customer or make more money. It's not really about the money as much as more about just the passion, the pride that you have.
I think that shows in the quality of the product and the listening to the customers you have. And you go look on like a tech startup website, right? And most of them, like, you just see that the company name is kind of cool, like repurpose.io. That sounds cool. But like your videos, that's you in them. Like, it's very, very clear very early on who the owner of the company is and how involved they are with helping and building it. And so many other like tech startup companies, you have no idea who the owner is. You have no idea who the team is. You just know it's like some big, you know, tech company, or maybe they're a small tech company all getting started, but you don't really have this human interaction with the founders and implementing stuff. So I think that's an amazing way you've been able to grow your company. So let's talk a little bit about who exactly is your ideal user of repurpose.io. So if they're out there listening and they say, hey, that's me, they can go check you out.
Yeah, before I answer that question, sorry, if you don't mind, I'm going to just have one small follow up to what you were saying before about the personal touch. I make that an effort to have a personal touch because I feel software is very impersonal, but if they know the founder or the creator or the team behind it, it makes it more personal, to the point where at some point we put a phone number on there on our website, just as a test. And I recommend, I've heard this from somebody and I recommend for people to do it. And not everybody calls. People freak out. Oh no, I don't want to put a number. I'm going to get a million phone calls. We have traffic, but you get people who call. But when they call and then I say, oh, hey, this is Hani Mourra speaking, they're like, whoa, I'm speaking with the founder. That this is amazing. And they feel like a deeper connection and deeper respect for you and your company. So, especially if you're a startup or, don't be shy. It's a good tip. Put your phone number, even if it's for a few weeks. Talk to your customers in person. They would really appreciate it.
I think that leads an example too, because when you go back to that example of like, hey, it's Saturday night, it's midnight, and the servers go down and crap's hitting the fan, and you call and you know that and you don't expect the owner to pick up, but the owner picks up, but you go, hey, I think, like, I know that the owner of the company is personally invested in this. There is a problem, and I'm going to feel a little bit more trust that they're going to do whatever it takes or working on it to get it solved. And so maybe you cut them a little bit of flexibility. Like, you know what it's like when the cable goes out, we're like, we're pissed off. This company's got no name, no face. We don't care who they are. Get out here and get this stuff fixed. These people are terrible. Let's write bad reviews. But if you know who the owner of the company is and they're like, hey, I'm working on it, like, you have I think you can relate to what they're dealing with and know that you're being covered. Hey, bad things happen, but we know that they're going to get handled because we have trust that the person's out there. So that is what that personal touch, I think, really adds, to the credibility and authenticness of it. So, I guess back to your ideal avatar of who
yeah, sorry about that little. I want to bring that out because I think it's a very important point. But yeah, back to the ideal avatar. It's basically small business, solopreneur type businesses who are doing business online, who need to connect with their audiences or even make their brand or the products aware of their products and services via content, video, live streaming, podcasting, but don't have a big marketing team or a big budget to spend on teams to be creating and putting content out there. This is a perfect tool for them. It lets you kind of set up the rules. Maybe you can have someone on your team pop in once or twice a week, make sure things are running. But it's designed so that you can do it all and manage your social media, audio, video, publishing out to multiple platforms, handle it all through one interface. And there's no video skills required, no software to download. It's really designed so that you can manage it, or someone on your team can manage it without spending a lot of time.
Yeah, very, very easy. And I think too, if you're probably managing multiple accounts, like if you're a content media creator, it can help you kind of be able to do a lot more stuff quickly for multiple people. So I know we've said where to find you probably a bunch of times on the show, but let's talk about, where can people go if they want to get connected to you? Where can they go to find repurpose.io?
Yeah, for me personally, I have a website at hanimourra.com, HANIMOURRA.com. It just lists a bit about me, connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, and all the social media stuff. It's more about me and then also the products that I've created over the past 8 years. But if you want to check out Repurpose, if it sounds like it's something interesting, you can get a free trial at repurpose.io. You can kind of hook up your social media stuff and publish 4 videos for free.
Awesome stuff. So all those will be linked in the show notes, and I encourage you to reach out to Hani, say hello, and if you do have a conversation with him, let him know you heard about him on the All In podcast with Nate Pao. So thanks so much for coming on the show, and clearly I need to get my repurpose game stepped up a notch. So if you're listen to this podcast, you might see it on a few other platforms, and Repurpose.io has been handling some of that back end stuff for me. So not only are we interviewing interesting people with interesting products, but I'm actually a user. I feel like the hair club for men president guy, but whatever. It's great stuff.
That's awesome.
I wouldn't advocate for it if it wasn't just a complete time saver. And I'm using like a tenth of what the capabilities are. And I'm just like, that alone is worth the price of the subscription, but there's so much more value I need to be taking advantage of. So thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here.
Thanks for having me here.